The enemy wants us to feel isolated in our
So
marriages.
true.
The enemy wants us to think that we're the only ones going through something hard, or that everybody else has these picture perfect marriages. And that's just simply not the case.
Welcome back to Forged. It has been a fun time as we kicked off our relationships in February, which is going to be good. And today we have a couple people that you will for sure find familiar faces you see on stage all the time. We got Justin and Michelle. You normally would see them behind the mic singing and worship leading and worship miracles, and they do such an amazing job with that. But they have kids. They're getting a little bit older. You guys
This is
have
a
been
different
married
kind
for a
of
while.
mic. This is not the same
know.
mic that we're used to.
Yeah, it's a little different.
It looks different, feels different.
I know. How long have you guys been married for?
We've been married 17 years.
17 years. And what's the age difference between you?
We're
5
almost
years.
5 years apart.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Not quite
That's
five.
not bad. That's not that. For some reason, I thought you guys were further apart than that.
Nope.
But
It felt large when we first started dating, or when we liked each other. We weren't allowed to date because I was a youth and he was a youth leader. So 5 years then seemed like a
The
lot.
secrets are coming out already.
No, it's fine.
This
It's
early
good.
on in the
It's good.
that's good. It starts off with a
Yeah,
bang.
starts off honest. But
Yeah.
we could officially start dating when I was 18.
Yeah.
And you were 20.
22,
That's not bad.
23.
That's not bad.
So,
But the older people get too, the less the age difference matters.
yeah. Like my parents are almost 12 years apart. So 5 years,
Yeah.
that's nothing.
That's
You
just
knew
a
that was an easy
blood.
conversation
We
to
keep
have
my
with the parents
dad
when you got
young.
home. Yeah. You're like, you guys have 12, so you can't say anything.
Yeah, no, nothing.
Can't be hypocrites.
I know. That'd be the best. What we were saying before, I think, is the relationship side of things, and that's what we're kind of going into this last little while of just like real relationships, though. You know, like the ones that understand that there's effort on both parts and there's communication that doesn't always go the way that you thought.
Well,
it
I was going to ask
and
you a question, Zach. So,
Okay.
like, do you believe in imposter syndrome? Do you ever deal with imposter syndrome?
explain exactly what you mean by imposter
So, do you
syndrome.
feel like you've been asked to do something and feel completely unqualified?
Like not
to do it?
equipped
Not
to
equipped.
necessarily do it in the natural on your own,
Yeah.
right?
I feel like that right now.
Do you?
Talking
We're like,
about
well, we don't have a
relationships.
perfect marriage,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
because we don't have a perfect marriage.
No.
There's so many things we're working on.
Well,
right?
and I think the most dangerous thing you can see online is someone who fakes having a perfect marriage, because you take so much wisdom from them thinking that they have the marriage that is perfect. And then
Totally.
you finally find out something happens and you're like, oh. It's like, I'd rather start off the fact to know that we don't have a perfect marriage. We work on it every single day. And this
We're
is
real
what's brought us
people.
here. Yeah.
Working through real
we
things.
kind of wanted to start
Yeah.
off with that.
That's good. That's good. I think that's everyone understand. Oh, I think everyone understands that with
For sure.
marriages, period. Right? It's like, I think people, Hollywood and movies and shows, and I mean, sometimes shows gets a little better at showing what a real marriage looks like, but a lot of time it's just this rom-com that's just too good to be true, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, and all of us husbands that just finished fighting with our wives were like, I freaking hate this movie. Like, it's just like
They're holding hands, just having all these beautiful moments.
I
It's
know.
like, you know what?
It's brutal. Well, the last time we were talking was you guys mentioned about Love and Respect.
Yeah.
And Love and Respect has been, me and Jess haven't finished it, but we did start going through it a while back, and then I think we had Brooke, and then it's something, I don't know, then we forgot about it. So, and that's real marriage.
Totally.
Real life right there.
We get it.
So, but I very much enjoyed it. But you guys were saying how you guys have been very much enjoying it as well these last, how many weeks? 4?
5 weeks
5?
was the course. Yeah, we just finished.
Jeez, that's
Just
crazy.
finished yesterday.
We would like to keep up the Tuesday date night, though.
That's
Yeah.
the plan. Yeah.
That's the plan.
We're
Well,
going to try
now-
to keep it going.
Your daughter is old enough to babysit.
Oh, we have
for a
2
while, right?
babysitters,
There you
actually.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, one is
Verging
probably,
on 3.
one is more competent than the other.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
No,
They
no.
won't listen to this.
No, I'm sure- yes, they
Oh,
will.
I'm sure they will.
100%
Actually,
they
yeah,
will.
That's true.
Hi, kids.
They'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
But yeah, so we're able to leave her home with the boys,
Yeah.
and she does a great job. She's just a huge.
She made lunches last night. That was very nice.
That is very nice.
blesses
Yeah.
mom's
Plus
heart.
my heart.
I guess that's the benefit of daughter first, right? Because the boys are good, but I mean, if I was born first, no chance. I was making like lunches for my sisters. Like, there's just no chance.
Well,
would've
I
been like-
was born first, and there was no chance I was making lunches.
There you go.
first.
That's
There
what
you
I'm
go.
saying, right? So it's like I
There-
feel like there is, that God has put some through nature of a woman and nature of a man. There's some beautiful things that happen, but one of them is not for a man typically to
Yeah.
be a really good caregiver when
Yeah.
it comes to like siblings and babysitting. So,
That's real life.
yeah, 100% it is. 100%. So you guys just finished yesterday.
Yep.
Or a couple days ago. No, it's Wednesday. So yesterday. What was would you guys say that it was probably one of the I don't know, more foundational things that you've gone through for either a book or a series or something that you feel has done a lot? Like, obviously there's 5 love languages. There's many other ones that we used to do at church or on your own.
And there's actually 3 of them. So shout out to Peter and Laura, who they've actually been doing it for 12 years. Can you believe it?
Yeah, they've been hosting Love and Respect.
Love and Respect at our
That's
church.
awesome. Yeah.
And they do 3 courses. So there's 2 other ones. Marriage on the Rock is one.
Yeah.
And then another one, the Laugh Your Way.
Oh, yes.
Better
Laugh Your Way
Marriage,
is always a
right?
funny
So those
one.
are the 3 that they do. And so we just happen to be at the Love and Respect one. But yeah, like it's constantly going on at our church in the life courses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely very foundational. Like, I would say it was more of a adding awareness
Mm-hmm.
to what we're doing in our marriage and what's going on in our marriage, adding awareness of like perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
We did, like, one of the things that they say is like, is the husband right about this or is the wife right about this? And then his answer is yes.
Yeah.
There's
Exactly.
is there a black and white right answer? I don't know.
Yeah. I definitely think this has been one of the most foundational things that we could have done for a marriage. It's unfortunate it took us till we got to this point to take the time to invest. Like, I strongly encourage people, if you can, take the time to invest in your marriage early on. That being said, it's never too late. There was couples in our class that were like well into probably their 40th year of marriage taking that
50th.
course. So
That's awesome.
but for us, I definitely think for me, it's totally changed my view of how I see my husband and what he needs, but also the responsibility that I have to take for myself and my actions. And they talk a lot about like getting off this crazy cycle that we get
Yes,
stuck on
the
in our
crazy
marriages.
cycle, yeah.
And like, I'll be real in saying, we've been having the same argument, the same fight surrounding it's different things that trigger it, but around the same insecurities that we have as a husband or as a wife since basically day one of our marriage.
I would agree.
So I think being given these tools and these resources to say, this doesn't have to continue. Doesn't mean that we're going to be perfect, right? We can keep on striving, to have a better marriage. We're still going to run into things, but being given the tools to be able to say, let's get off this crazy cycle.
Yeah.
Let's figure out how we can have wins for both of us, I think has just been, I don't know, really life altering for us. And we've just finished the course. We still have so many conversations that I feel like we need to have. Hence the ongoing Tuesday date nights. I think we now need to take the workbook that we've gone through and actually just go sit down, have coffee, talk these things
Now
through.
it's time to unpack all
It's
of
time
this.
to unpack because it was like a fire hose of information coming at us over the course of the 5 weeks, and took notes. But now it's time to really go through, have some of the tough conversations or the encouraging conversations that need to follow that so that we can continue to implement these changes in our marriage.
And speaking of the crazy cycle, like, it's like with that crazy cycle, it's recognizing when you're on it. So one of the things that they talked about, that Dr. Eggert's talked about, was how every family and every couple is on the crazy cycle multiple times a day, and recognizing when you're starting to get on it, and then which one of us is going to be the one to get off? Which one of us is going to be the one to actually say, you know what, like, this is what's happening, recognize it, and it's like, okay, this is what we have to do.
And to explain the crazy cycle, basically, you don't receive respect, therefore you don't give love, and that
That's right.
just continues to perpetuate the
Yeah,
cycle.
and it's easy to point the finger and say, well, I'm not showing love because he
Because,
disrespected me. And it's easy for him to say, I'm not showing her love because she didn't respect me.
Yeah.
And so it's like, who's right? Who's wrong? Who started it? I could be holding on to something from like 10 days ago, and he could be thinking, well, you showed me disrespect today and I'm holding on to, right? And it's just, we're keeping score, we're counting, and that doesn't get you anywhere productive in your marriage and towards making change and seeing change. So somebody's got to take the first step. Yes. They say the more mature one. Whoever decides to be more mature in the moment, right, is going to take that step to stop the crazy cycle. And it depends on the day. Like, it depends what we're walking through. It depends on emotions. It depends, some of the outside pressures, right? So it's really dependent day to day. But that crazy cycle, I caught myself, interrupting my husband the other day when we were having a conversation. And I quickly stopped myself because
And
I know
noticed,
that's something
I noticed
that,
it.
and
As soon as she did
you
that,
know, but it's like, it doesn't mean that we're not going to have those instincts that,
No,
you know,
of course
kind of
not.
come to us naturally.
Yep.
And especially with your spouse, because that's the person you're most comfortable with, right? That's the person that you let your guard down in front of. Would I do that maybe to my coworker or to a friend? I'd probably bite my tongue, right?
Yep.
Because I know that that's not polite or that it's rude or it could make them feel disrespected. But sometimes, unfortunately, when we're comfortable with someone, we let those guards down, right? And so how quickly I realized, oh, this is disrespectful to him. Because he's expressed that to me, right? And we've had that conversation. So I stopped and I said, keep going, right?
Yeah.
And so it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen, but it's taking the time to recognize when you are starting to add fuel to a fire that maybe doesn't, right? You can stop it.
and when you did that, I noticed it.
Yeah.
When she actually recognized it, she took a step back and was like, you know what? You can finish your thought. It's like, that made me feel like seen in that moment. And that made me feel respected.
It's so crazy how it's just like the smallest things.
It's not. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's wild.
It's very small, and it's very like, it's very small, but it takes that extra effort that typically we don't put in with, like you already said, the people that we're most vulnerable with, because it happens. Yeah, we talked about that last time as well. We were just saying how quickly we get home, and if we would have seen if we would have been drained, let's say, and we go to the supermarket and you see someone that you know at the supermarket, you could be drained beyond belief and somehow still take the last little bit of energy and make it look like you're not drained at all. And you're like, hi, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. Then you get home and it's like, you just won't do the same thing for your spouse, which I also, there's a catch-22 there, because it's like, you also love each other to know when they need a break and when they need a rest and those types of things. But I think it's good to start off with putting that best foot forward and showing the energy, right? A little bit, at least, just enough to get to the conversation where it's like, I'm bagged. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the beauty of it too. When you break that cycle, I think it.
And then you get on, so then the next part of that is you get on the energizing cycle. So the energizing cycle is his love motivates her respect, which motivates his love, which motivates her respect, right? And that's where we, like, I found that as well. Like now that's something now that we've, like, there was on Sunday, we were at her sister's house and she just like, she bragged about me in my hockey game.
Okay, he got his first penalty in a hockey game.
That's a good thing.
In 3 years.
3 years. He's a gentle hockey player. He got his first real penalty, and I knew he would be so proud of himself. And I was so proud of him because he ended up in the penalty box for tripping.
Yeah. Put a little extra effort in there and got a tripping call.
So teammates were all pumped, but she was bragging about me in front of her siblings. And it's like, that was something that, like, I was like, oh my word.
Best thing ever.
That's the energizing cycle. And
100%.
now it's like, I just want to like pour more love on her than maybe I was even doing before. And then hope, then it goes back and forth. That's where we want to try to get on. That's what we have to talk about. And that's what
and it's discovering what that means for each other. Because what it means for, Justin versus maybe my brother-in-law, or myself versus my sister, or whatever, right? Like, each person is so individual. So what makes me feel loved, and that's where also we talked about 5 love languages just a little bit. Knowing what that looks like for your spouse is so important. And I'll be honest in saying, like, one of the hard conversations that we had to have even around that is, they challenged us to express, okay, well, what makes you feel loved? And being a busy working mom of 4, I sat across the table and I cried because I said, I actually don't know. I don't think I could tell you in this very moment what makes me feel loved, because there was this need to almost feel like I had to turn that off just to keep going, right? Turn off feelings to keep on going, right? Because sometimes you just get stuck in this, like, just go, like put your head down and go. And here my family is trying to express their love to me and I'm not receiving it because I've turned that off and I've said, well, I don't even know how I feel love. It's fine. I'll just keep going, right? So that was a hard conversation that we need to have, because I think what my love language was prior to having kids and just being the two of us has changed, and different seasons, you need different things. Just because one season of life, it's quality time because you have that time to spend. Now that I'm a mom of 4 and I'm working and we volunteer a lot, acts of service actually really means a lot to me because it lightens my load, right? So rediscovering what that might look like in this season of life for myself so I can help my husband love me is so important.
And that takes conversation, like that takes communication. And that's an area where I feel like sometimes I'm really up and down with communication. Sometimes I over communicate, and sometimes I don't communicate enough. I'm having trouble finding that balance, but it's so important that I do talk to her and I ask her these questions and I give her time to think about this stuff, and then we come back to it. It's like, what made you feel loved in this moment? Like, I want to do that. Everything in me wants to fulfill that in her, like to make her feel loved the way that I desire to feel respected. And to actually have that conversation and give her the space to think about that and to come up with that answer. That didn't happen overnight. That took like weeks of conversation.
It can take effort. And maybe for some people that's easy. Like they quickly know. But that was something I really had to, I thought, if I am going to allow my husband to love me, I have to know how I feel loved, right? So
there's a sacrifice involved in that. Like I think everyone with marriage, sometimes they get to the, I don't know when this happens, but they get a little scared of using the term sacrifice because it sounds like it's a negative connotation, because it's not a sacrifice, it's worth the work, right? And it's like, yeah, I get that, but there's still a sacrifice. I mean, if you want to go biblical with it, there's a sacrifice to your own flesh and desires of what's best for your wife versus not, right? Like even showing love languages. Like sometimes you're sacrificing not being shown a love language for a while, or you're sacrificing the fact that you're going to love her and she might be busy, she might be mad at you, she might be whatever, and not show you respect for a little while, and you feel like you're one-siding it for a while, when in reality, you're gaining ground. You just haven't really felt that yet, I guess, right?
And that's the last part of what the course goes through, not to like oversell it here.
No, it's good.
But like it talks about doing things as unto the Lord. So basically, even if you are in a one-sided relationship, especially if, we have viewers that the only one spouse is a Christian, like it can be very difficult, right? And then recognizing that what you do to your spouse is as unto the Lord is so powerful. And recognizing that you are pleasing Jesus in what you're doing, it matters so much, and it does make a difference. And there can be all kinds of manipulation and stuff that could be, people could say that you're being manipulative or something like that. But if your heart is truly just to serve your spouse, like that is a beautiful thing, and it's going to break something at some point.
Yeah, they talked about how kind of just the importance of actually doubling down. Like when you don't feel that you are on the receiving end, that you're giving, that's actually the time to double down. And for me, showing more respect, because that is actually going to be what ends up showing change or seeing results in the end. I used to work in a customer service job, and I had no issue when we had a customer who was being difficult. We would say, let's kill them with kindness, like they're going to give us a hard time. Let's go out of our way to be extra kind, extra, paying attention to their needs. And in the end, they're going to be the one that walks out feeling like, well, I was a jerk.
Totally.
Right. And I'm like, well, why can't I do that in my marriage? Why can't I just double down and be more respectful and more? And it's like the Holy Spirit will convict him. I don't need to do that. Right. Yep. That's why I'm so thankful we have Holy Spirit, is he's our advocate. So when I take something to him and say, Lord, I'm really struggling here. I don't know how to make ground. I don't know how to help Justin understand me, or I don't understand him. Like, Holy Spirit, be my advocate and help me. And I can do my part and double down on showing him love and respect. And I trust that Holy Spirit will take care of the rest. Right. And that's really going to be what brings forth change, I think, in our marriages.
For sure will. And the doubling down is a very profound teaching, I feel like, in that as well, because people would feel like and I feel like we have a very low threshold for how much we will give without receiving if you're not careful, right? And then you give up, and you might be on the cusp, but at the same time, it's like not even about that. Like you said, you're doing it unto the Lord, so you're not trying to make it, you're not doing it to get, right? And I think there's a beautiful marriage you will get, right? But you're not doing it with that manipulation in mind, where I'm just going to give because I need something out of this, right? And it does change a little bit of your perspective with marriage and with building that and showing your kids. I think that's a big thing too, right? I was talking with Danny and Jen about that as well, where it's just like there's an avenue of showing your kids what a good marriage looks like, and you guys are probably in that you're in that boat now. You know what I mean? Like it's like
We are in the boat.
And you've been in it probably for 6 years probably or something like that, where they're now catching on to how daddy's loving mom and how mom's loving dad and how they're treating each other and arguments that make them scared, or like, are you guys splitting up or something? Like I don't know if your kids have ever gone that route with it. But
It's funny because sometimes I have one child in particular who he'll be like, how come you don't like hug mom more in front of us and stuff? And it's like, like, you know what? I actually have no issue with doing that.
Yeah.
So it might drive her nuts sometimes.
Why would it drive me nuts?
Because
it's a showy thing to your kids, like to embarrass your kids.
When you're being handsy and stuff like that in front of people.
Well, me and Jess
He goes for
joking.
the ooze. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
Ew.
I feel like that's every like kind of dad to a certain degree, or most dads like to go for that.
I love it.
I know it's hilarious. I can't wait till when Brooke's like a certain age where she's like, yeah. Lately, it's like more of the side where it's like Jess is like, well, what if she watches how you kiss me in front of her and then thinks that's how she kisses others? And I'm like, that would be.
I don't know if that thought ever crossed my mind.
That is a very cool thought, Jess. Right on.
And so I started laughing. I was like,
That's funny.
That's fair. Or like you give her a hug, and as a husband, you smack her butt or something like that, and then all of a sudden Brooke starts hugging people and smacking their butt. And you're like, she hasn't started, but it just makes you think, right? You're like, oh my goodness, right?
They are watching.
Yeah.
They watch everything.
Oh, 100%. I know. That's Brooke's thing right now. She's, I don't know if this is normal. I'm sure it's normal, but she switches now to everything being no matter what. Even if she means yes. Like, she'll be hungry, and we've taught her like whatever the sign language for more, right?
Yeah.
And so if she's like, what do you want? She's like this, and you just know she's asking for food. Yep. So she'll even ask for a nana, which is banana, right? So I'll get her the banana. I'll look at her. I'm like, do you want this? No. And I'm like, but she's saying yes.
But you mean yes. You know, she's a true woman right from that.
Yeah.
So speaking of no, I have a kind of a little bit of a cool story.
Okay.
Dr. Lehman is one of the guys that we've read a lot of his books, and I've gone over a lot of his stuff over the years and helping with parenting. And so one time I remember when Dr. Lehman was at our church, he said, you know what? Sometimes I have people send me a message through Facebook Messenger, and I'll be sitting in the car and I'll have some time and I'll just respond to people. So I did. So I messaged him one day, and he got back to me.
No way.
And so my question for him was, this was when Michaela would have been maybe 2 or 3, like really young. And I said, how do you have any tips for us on how to get your child to stop saying no? Mm-hmm. I said, Michaela is just saying no all the time. And he said to me, yep. He's like, never, ever say no in your house. He said, when you're responding to your child, use sentences. So say, I don't want you to do that, or Daddy doesn't want you to do that, or something with actually a sentence instead of using the word no, because it's so easy for the child to copy that.
Just associations, right?
Yeah.
But they can't speak in sentences yet, right? Mm-hmm. So then if you stopped saying it, so we did that. We actually stopped saying no, and we made a commitment. Like, you can't do that. Sorry, Daddy doesn't want you to do that, or using full sentences. That silly little thing. In like 3 days, she had never said the word no anymore. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this actually works.
Yeah.
These guys know what they're talking about. Yeah. So anyways, you're talking about no, and it just
made
me think about that.
Because it was like, I think Sunday morning, Jess said, just woke up and every yeah was no now.
And that was us.
And
this
you're just
too
like,
shall pass.
Well,
it's okay.
It will.
And
pass.
it's not even out of like, maybe
She's not being like defiant.
This. Yeah, she's not being defiant.
No,
at all.
she wasn't.
Okay. She's just saying it. And it's like, even though she knows, like, she thinks no means yeah now. Like, that's where she's at, right? She'll say no sometimes in the right context. But then, like, food is the biggest thing, because food is life for Brooke. So, like, it's like everything's food. And so before, she'd be like, yeah. Like, or she went through a yes phase when she was really serious about things. She'd be like, Mike, you want a banana? Yes. I'm like, okay, sounds good. It was just odd, right? But I know. So I was just laughing because I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, but that's it goes back to the fact of just them watching everything that we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're copying everything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Or they're trying to copy everything as best as they can.
Because Michaela, how old is Michaela now?
She's 15.
15.
That's crazy.
We're going to register for driver's ed soon. That's something.
Don't like it.
Yeah, no kidding. That's everyone always says that you pray more when
I do like it. You know what? It's I say that in jest. It's a beautiful each season of life is really beautiful.
Yeah.
You just kind of mourn
oh yeah,
the
you
past
do.
season a little bit.
Every time.
Well, and then you feel this need all of a sudden to make sure you're being really intentional, right? Because you're thinking, how much longer are things going to be just like this? And the answer is not long, right? Those younger days, they can be really hard.
Oh yeah.
And they're very fulfilling. But as they get older, you think it's not that I'm not worried that I'm going to lose relationship with her or anything like that. It's just things are going to change, right? I may have to share her.
Yeah, that's scary.
And I mean, as exciting as that is, different season of life, it's just, I really feel this need to be intentional.
Yeah.
You know, in our parenting and the time we spend together, because it won't always be this way.
No. And that was the same for every season that comes through with Brooke. We're like, we talk about it and we're just like, oh, we wish we'd have paid more attention, or we wish we'd have just been more involved, even though we were very involved. It just you never feel like you were enough, right? When a season or a new chapter begins, where you're like, oh wow, like I didn't realize that happened so quick. And of course, in the first like 2 or 3 or 4 years of your child's life, it's like that goes by unbelievably quick, right? I'm sure it slows down at some point a little bit. It must.
Yeah, no, not really.
Well, if you keep having more kids, it just
That's true.
It kind of runs into, but yeah, like the one thing I think about when you were doing the podcast, most recent one with Andre and Matt, and you were talking about balance. I've been thinking about that a lot. And how do you tell a mother? In our case, Michelle was 28 years old. She had 3 children under the age of 5. How do you tell her to have balance? With that? Like in your all these different seasons, you know, like you're doing your best. You're like, I think that's just something that is good for you to, if you can, communicate about with your spouse. Like just see, like, we're not going to do everything. We're not going to be the perfect parent. We're not going to have all the answers to all the questions. Balance is, it's probably not a realistic expectation when you've got little kids and stuff and you're working and you've got all these different things going on. It's not a realistic expectation. So what do you do then?
Yeah.
And I think you communicate, you talk together and you try to decide, okay, and even acknowledge maybe where you've been failing, but give yourself grace, give yourself space to not feel guilty and not feel bad, and do the best with what's in your hand right now.
Yeah, no, it's very, very true. And I think that's it becomes, I don't know, it's a difficult spot. It's another thing that you have to just show a lot of just dedication, I guess, and discipline to be even present, right? Like I think that's a lot of the things that comes with even Brooke and I, where I'm like, it's so easy to grab your phone and just start scrolling or checking a text or doing something that, like, even when it's balanced, like priorities is what I said in that podcast. Like you can only prioritize your time. And that was a big thing for me when you get into this. It's like, well, you're going off of a weekend in Calgary and then it's great, but it's work the whole time. It's just like, which is fantastic. I love being there. And then all of a sudden you go into this week and I'm prepping for a conference I'm speaking at next week, but then I also have men's breakfast in Winnipeg this Saturday. And then we have the three Sunday services on Sunday. And you start to think, well, where's the time for family sometimes in some of these things? Like I don't just go on the stage and preach. I prep a lot. I have to get to the point where I feel comfortable to walk on stage. Otherwise, I'm not going to be present, period, with my family, because the whole time I am present, I'm going to be thinking about my message and what's not prepared and what's not this. So it's like finding that happy balance. And and to me, it's trying to get rid of the procrastination, trying to prioritize what's proper. And then if you're going to go home at 4, I try to get home 4 or 5. If I get home at that time, because I'm an early riser, like I'm up at 5:30, 6 every single morning, and I'm working by 6:30 for sure, like at the latest. And so because then, like if I worked a normal work day, I'd be getting home 5:30. Brooke's in the bath by 6. Like that's just so sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, I'm like, I can prevent this by just getting up a little more earlier. So I did that, but that doesn't mean this all works out fine and dandy just because I decided that, right? But then when you get home, you're like, hey, I get home, now whatever work texts I get are just not being responded to in this moment. Like I'm now with Brooke. Like I've now changed priorities from work to home. right? And I think that's why people have a trouble with balance a lot of the time, is because they just don't really know how to turn off the last phase and get into the new phase, and then just leave your phone away, right?
And
If you
that's
don't-
hard.
It's super hard.
Super hard.
Super hard.
But so important.
Mm-hmm. And like if it's an emergency, they're gonna call me.
Yeah.
If it's a text, I have time. I think everyone knows that if they text me, it could be a day, it could be 2 days, it could be 5 minutes. You know what I mean? And they know that. So it's like just reminding yourself, because sometimes you can be your own worst enemy. Like,
Well, and I think my heart just goes out to a lot of young moms
mhm,
that they're just tired.
mhm.
Like that was kind of our experience while we were having babies and stuff. You know, it was kind of boom. We had 4, and they were kind of not quite one after the other. There's a bit of a gap between 3 and 4, but for the most part, like I would tell my friends, like Michelle's just been tired for 9 years.
Mhm.
Like, and it's tough. Like when you're tired all the time, how do you have balance? Like, how do you even have
Mhm.
energy to have a conversation with your husband at that time?
Yep.
Like my heart just really goes out to that. And I just, you just do the best that you can in the
Mhm.
moment. And you try to strip away all the guilt
Mhm.
and all the struggle that, you know, like that you're not a good enough parent or something like that. And you know what? You just do your best and you communicate. Maybe if you have 5 minutes, take that 5 minutes and talk to your spouse.
Mhm.
Maybe it'll be more at times, but like that was really what's been on my heart the last few days. It's just that kind of thing. We want to make sure that you don't feel like you're less than
Mhm.
because you don't have the energy even to get through that.
Totally. Well, there's expectations I think that are put on in this circumstance, like your wife, where you're like, I'm expecting this kind of reply when I get home from work, and you're not really. We were joking the other day because you have those like those lights on houses now that are permanent lights that
Mhm.
are all up, and there's been jokes about how the wife has control over them, so that she puts whatever color she wants
Perfect.
to let the husband know what he's walking into.
In our
Yeah.
household, it's actually opposite because Justin works mostly business for self.
Yeah.
He goes into the office almost daily, but he always beats me home.
Right.
So it's more like the honey, I'm home
Yeah.
with all the kids.
Yeah.
He had this nice quiet house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Tidied it up
he
before
would
she got
be
there.
he would be setting the lights.
That's funny.
Or I should preset them before I get home and be like,
Totally. Yeah.
rough drive home
Terrible
today.
drive home, and sometimes as a husband, you're like, well, at least in this circumstance, you're just like coming home. You're excited to get home. You're excited to see your wife. Excited to see your kids. And you just don't even think like they might have had a bad day. And then you first see them and you're like, oh crap. Like you're just like, dang it. Like this
And
is,
that was real life for us too
Yeah.
this season. 100%.
100%.
And that's it's real life.
Mhm.
And that's why we want it. It's okay to be vulnerable and to not feel like you have to be the Instagram mom,
Mhm.
right? That's got everything together. Everything is just so. That's just not real, in my opinion. I don't think that's real life. And
No.
I think recognizing that and giving yourself the space is important.
Mhm. I think that's where the energizing cycle comes in, and the doubling down comes in too, where it's like, if it's a lot of years of even tiredness or this, it's
Mhm.
like, remind yourself. Like sometimes it's just as easy to talk ourselves out of something than it is into something. Like both of those take the same thing, right?
Yeah,
And
Right.
most
true.
of the time
It's good.
we get home, we're like, I wonder why she's treating me like this way. Like, what did I do? Like, did I do something? Did I say something? Like, why is she mad at me? Like, and you just start
I'm
going like
sorry.
that, right? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And then you're like, or man, I wonder if she's had a hard day. Maybe I'll just go do the dishes quickly, or I'll go grab Brooke for a little here and there. Like me and Brooke went for, and I love taking Brooke to Canadian Tire. I don't know why. It's my favorite
Nice.
place. It's my favorite place to bring her because there's this little like,
Gives you good stories for your messages too.
I had
There you
one
go.
good story was from there. Yes. Yes. But it just, and she's just chill because obviously she's very like, completely different demeanor with me versus Jess. Like completely. She can have a
Right.
good time with me,
Yeah.
happy, cute, like just like a bundle of joy. And then Jess walks in the room and she'll be like, "Ugh," and she'll just like that because she wants something. And you're just like, but she doesn't do that to me. But she does it to Jess, right? Just because the time spent with Jess is a lot more than me. And it's like, I don't know. It's just like, oh my goodness.
I don't know. I think kids see moms and they think food.
100%.
Like I can
Yeah.
be gone all morning and afternoon running errands or whatever. I'll get back to the house. It's like 2 p.m. The second I walk in the door, Mom, I'm hungry. I didn't have lunch. Your dad's been
Sitting
home
right there
all day.
And I never got
also,
asked
you
once.
are capable of making lunch. He never got asked once for food.
Nobody
Meanwhile,
asked me.
they're starving. And you're
Now
like,
here's the question. Here's the interesting question. Is it because if they ask dad says, yeah, there's sandwich you can make from the
100%.
fridge.
He'll say, go do it yourself.
And mom will be like, okay, yeah, let me make you something.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Go grab some cashews.
Okay,
that's what I
well,
mean. Yeah.
go grab some cashews.
So they know what dad's
and
about
I'm like,
to say.
do you have a protein, a veggie, a fruit? But actually that kind of brings back to like one of the big things I think I didn't even realize about myself. I did, but to have somebody else verbalize it for you, sometimes you're like, yes. In Love and Respect was they talked about how why men don't always understand women is because God made them to be nurturers. And a lot of like the decisions that I make, the things that like hills that I am willing to die on for my children, Justin is like, why?
Yeah.
You know, like if they say they're hungry and they want a snack before bed, I'm like, okay, would you like an apple? And Justin's like, no way, you had supper, go to bed. You can wake up and have breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think even just understanding that we are different, like
Totally.
and
Yeah.
that's okay. The things that matter to me as a woman aren't going to be the same things that matter to Justin as the man in our relationship. But when he can say, okay, I understand that Michelle was built to be a nurturer, and that's why, you know, example, she wants to give them a snack at bedtime if they're hungry. It helps him understand me. It helps him have, and maybe that's something then that he's not going to push me on as much because he understands that it comes from a place of nurturing. And that, like, again, who's right? Yes. Right? It just depends on your perspective and what the motive of our heart is. And Justin's, what motivates him is different than what motivates me. So yes, I feed the kids when they say they're hungry, and he's like, "No way."
I get that, and,
Right?
and I feel like in crisis might be a wrong term, but when things aren't going amazing in life, that's when you seem to respect the differences a lot more of a nurturer or of a protector or of a like whatever, a man that says this and he means it, whatever it might be. But when everything's going like not amazing, but everything's just good, like there's nothing bad happening, life's great, there's not really any speed bumps we've been going over lately. That's when I think you become familiar and you're just like, oh my gosh, like come on, like don't give him a snack. You know, it's just like, and I get it too, right? Because there's certain things where you're like. And this happened with me and Jess when we were dog training. It sounds so dumb now that we're talking about kids and then going to dog training, but the same thing, right? Because I would go like, well, that you're teaching them this, right? The second we do that, you're just like you're unwiring some stuff, even though it's the nurturer, cutie side of like, oh, do you want a treat or do you want this or do you want that, right? Which is the same thing with Brooke now, right? Like she's just always hungry when Jess is around, whereas with me, she kind of forgets.
Yeah,
or she's just not hungry. Like I'll like the normal times she's hungry. Like I give her a snack, I give her dinner and lunch, and if Jess isn't there, but she's not like perpetually whining for more food. Whereas with Jess, she's like that all the time, right? So you go to Canadian Tire or something like that, and we just jump in the vehicle, and she's back there just chilling and having a good time, and it's just enjoyable, and that gives Jess that kind of rest because. And again, I guess full circle. I get back from Calgary and I'm like, man, that was like a lot of work, right? Like there's fun in there. I love being at the church and chatting with people and all that stuff. It's always great. But then you're on early flights, on late flights. And I do that because I want to be home as soon as possible to be there for my family, right? And you get home and it's not that like Jessica's just as busy as I am, just in a different way. But sometimes we don't realize that as maybe husbands or as whoever the person that's kind of doing the majority of the outside the home work, right? Like, and that was a big one too, where you get home, it's like, okay, but she's been home with like a 16-month-old for 2 straight days, did not have any reprieve for me at all. Because usually I get home and I take her for a bit, or I'll go bath her, or I'll put her to bed, and it's like, that's exhausting, right? Because you have no you time ever, right? Whereas I had to work a lot, but it was a luxury to have the me time because I'm by myself in a car driving. I can go stop at a drive-through if I want to. I can. I'm like, I went to the mall for an hour because I was like, I'm just gonna. And she's like, that sounds so awesome. I'm like, she kept calling it my bachelor weekend, and I'm like, it's not not even close to a bachelor weekend. But then I'm like, I guess I understand because it's like you would kill for working and having some time to just like chill a little bit, right? But at the same time, then sometimes they feel bad because it's like, well, but I love my daughter so much. It's not because I want to get away from her. Like I love her so much. I would hate that, right?
For
So
sure.
it's always a
Well, and it's awareness to me, right? So what Michelle was saying, like about like the differences between us, like the fact now that I understand that she is nurturing, and that is the reason for our disagreements. Like for me, it's been like it was tough at times, like because I would feel maybe attacked on something. I felt this way, and I felt attacked, but she wasn't attacking me. She was just that was just how she loves. And so for me, that finding that awareness just clicked something in my brain. And now all of a sudden, like in these last number of weeks when we've been having conversations, it's just different because now all of a sudden I feel more secure in her love for me. That never changed. That never wavered. I know you put me on a lie detector, I would tell you every single time I would pass, knowing that she loves me more than anything. But the fact that now I am not dealing with, I'm understanding, and I've got awareness of where she's coming from. It's like it just changes something in the conversation, and now I'm more empathetic to her. Now this whole thing we were talking about with the crazy cycle. It's like I'm not getting on that. I'm not getting on that crazy cycle anymore. I'm going to find ways now to affirm the fact that she is showing love in this kind of a way. And you know what? That's actually a positive. You know what? Maybe I would do it differently. And yeah, you know what? There's a balance. There's a reason why God created the male and female. Like we have different things that we add to the relationship and to the home and all these kinds of things, which are beautiful. But we can celebrate those differences. We don't have to just be frustrated by them.
100%. I think that's what I love about marriage, I guess. And I said this last time too, but it's just like if you put the work in it, it just continues to get better and better and better and better. And you don't think it would get better, or you're like, oh, is this it? Or that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden you're just like, wow, this is getting better and better and better. And we know each other. And you start to just understand everything the Bible starts to say about marriage and about one person and doing your best to stay pure even when you're dating for that one person. Well, it's because it's so beautiful in marriage, right?
Absolutely.
With all that stuff. You're just like, and then you start to just connect with this vulnerable, you're most vulnerable but most loved, and those two things are like, how could you argue that, right? Like your most vulnerable self but also your most loved self, right? What you wish everyone else would accept you for, your spouse accepts you for. You know what I mean? So it's
Thanks,
like,
honey.
yeah, but you almost like it makes you love each other more because you're just like,
oh yes,
like I love Jessica and I's differences. I love the fact that she's brought me back down to probably being more of a homebody, and I've brought her a little more outside too, and we're both kind of find that happy medium, and like there's so much beauty in that. But like you just get to the point where you just know each other, and you're just like, you just know what each other need even, and it's like, okay, you need to get out. Sometimes she'll just say it to me like, you got to go out tonight or something, like she'll literally almost kick me out of the house. She's like, you've been working too much,
time.
and it's like,
it's time.
And I know she's saying because I'm annoying the crap out of her right now, like that's probably where it's coming from, but she doesn't make it seem like that, like she's doing it very
showing
lovingly.
you respect.
I wish she was
Totally.
here to stand.
I know. I'm still trying to get her on the podcast.
Good job, Jess.
I'm still trying to get her on. Well, I want to get her on this like relationships thing because it'd be fun just for me and her to chat about our marriage and stuff.
I agree.
we should text her after
Yeah,
this.
you should text her because it would be good because but that's the beauty of it, and I think that there's something so awesome about marriage where it's like you just keep putting the work in, and there you do go through phases where it's like, this is a lot of work and it almost feels like it's not worth it. There has been times in our marriage where it's like, whoa, this is like, not that it's not worth it as if we give up, but it's like, is this working? Like
and
not
it's
working.
hard.
Yeah.
You know what? It's and that's the thing too, even just working through a lot of these things and this whole awareness thing or whatever, like I'll be honest, it's been hard. Has it been worth it? Absolutely worth it. But like how I look at it, it's like, I remember Jim Collins wrote a book, it was Good to Great. And I feel like I like to think that our marriage is good. And I want to try to bring it to great.
Mm-hmm.
And to do that, like it's it's not easy. Like
No.
you're having and I've been thinking about like what this feels like to me this last number of weeks going through a marriage course, and it's like all the sediment has just been settled at the bottom, or maybe like a
I
snow.
called it the ocean of my emotion, right? Like there's all these emotions you have that you just don't deal with for so long that the sediment
and it's just settled. And it's like a snow globe.
sits at the bottom.
The snow globe hasn't been shaken up in a long time.
Yeah.
The stuff is just all sitting there at the bottom. You know it's there, but you're just fine, kind of.
You can deal with it down there, right?
And
you don't see it.
Yeah, it's fine.
When you're swimming
and
at
now,
the top.
and now this whole, marriage
It's shaking
course,
it up.
and now all of a sudden everything is everywhere, and you're just like, whoa.
And now you're forced to either, you can do one of two things. You can let it settle back down
Yeah.
and go back to where you were,
Yeah.
or you can choose to deal with it and talk it through and have the hard conversations. And growth in any area is not easy.
No.
It at times can be painful. Like you think of somebody training, right? Like lifting weights, like it's hard, but you're stronger in the end. And for us, I think that was, I think week 2 or week 3, I just was like, I do not feel like myself. Like I know taking this course is the right thing for us to do, but I just felt like everything was shaken up, but then we didn't necessarily have the appropriate amount of time to like
Oh, I hate
talk
that.
about it,
Yes.
right? And then what I found was happening was we would, as naturally we sometimes do, something would come up, and now we're having conversations from a place of it almost being an argument instead of like my emotions aren't heightened. Let's have a logical conversation about these things. It's like, no, something unfortunately set me off, and now we're having this conversation from a place of heightened emotions, and that doesn't feel good either.
No.
Right? Like way better to have these conversations that are growing and stretching when you're coming from a place of, I'm speaking not from a place of emotion, but a place of logic and truth. So I think that's where like the follow-up to having conversations as you're learning and as you're growing together, as you decide to work on something, whether it's a book or a course, setting aside time after to actually have these conversations that aren't emotionally driven is where are you actually going to put now into practice what you've learned? Because that's what is, in the end, we can learn or hear about all these great things that are going to take us to new places in our marriage. And taking this course, I've felt so much closer to you. But what are we going to do with it from here, right? Marriage it's not a place you arrive. It's not a destination. It's a journey that we walk through life together because nobody ever has just arrived and said, okay, we have a perfect marriage now, check. It's like, you're either plateaued or you're going downhill or you're going uphill, right? So
you've spoken before about like feeding the congregation with a water hose, right? And it's like that is what we felt like over these last 5 weeks doing this marriage course. Like we were fed with a water hose, and it's like, what do you do with all of this? And it's like now, like what she was saying, now is the time where the work has begun. Like, and this is now a journey to unpack these things. So we have a workbook that came with it, and we're going to be going through the devotion. We've already gone through a few of them, but continue to do that. Discussion questions, following up. Like those are the things that actually make the difference, that actually helps things in seeing the results that you want to see and taking that to the next level. And it's hard. Like I think like the whole romanticizing, like seeing TV shows and stuff like that of all these beautiful relationships and movies and all this kind of stuff. It set a really unrealistic paradigm in so many people with this is how it's supposed to look. And even Instagram and social media and stuff like that is horrible for this stuff, because I'm not wearing this nice flowy dress and have all the sunlight just hitting me perfectly and all this kind of stuff, right? And it's like, that's not real life.
Yeah.
This is work. And frankly, it's hard, but that's okay. And I feel like that's the message that I would want to encourage people with is like, if you're going through hard things right now, you're not weird.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely okay. And it's actually, I would look at that as a positive, that you're taking steps that you need to take things to the next level, to understand your spouse better, to figure out how to get off the crazy cycle, get on the energizing cycle together. These things are not easy.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can be fairly simple, but they're not easy.
No.
And it can be
discipline.
hard.
Yeah. It's a different Exactly that. It's the easy and simple part. It's like they're when you write them down, it's like this is the easiest, simplest thing ever. If you just read it on a notebook, like go home, listen to understand, don't listen to correct or whatever. And but even that's like changed everything, right? It's like we both want two separate things out of this conversation. I want you to hear that I know how to fix this and we can fix it no problem.
Totally.
And she just wants to hear that I can hear her and I'm good and she's good and everything's gonna be okay. Don't worry. Like give you a hug. Like we'll make it through this. Whereas I'm like, we'll just do this and this and this and you'll be fine, right? And it's like I've had that. I think a lot of husbands are like that, and I'm sure wives are too. But it's just like there's a moment in there, and what we found too in ours, and maybe it's the same to you guys, is the fact that when you guys finally get to that non-emotional time where you could talk something through, was it just somehow always perfectly in the time where you had something else that was like right there that you had to go do, like you had to leave the house for something, or like all of our logical conversations
100%.
started 20 minutes before I had to leave. And I had no choice but to leave. Like it was like,
Why
I have to
does it
catch a
always work
flight.
that way? Yeah.
I have to go preach. I have to. I have no out of this.
Yeah.
And I'm in 20 minutes. We're already in the conversation, and my head's already like, how do I do this nicely? Like I have to leave, but we're in
What
such
is your
a great
exit
Yeah, what
strategy,
is my
Zach?
exit strategy here?
Yeah, exit strategy, but not.
But you don't want to. I know.
Yeah, because I don't want to, but I also don't want to hurt
Of course.
her either. Because I'm like, oh, we're finally chatting about this, and it's just gonna. Oh, it's like
And I
so
think
funny.
giving your spouse the assurance that, you know, we're coming back to this, like letting them know that, you know what, this is something that is important to me, that this matters. And like, even if you have to like write a note or something like that to remind you to put it in maybe your day timer or something like that, like so that you actually remember to go back to that, because that is real life.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, as a woman, I often feel like when a conversation ends before I'm ready for it to end, but it has to for one reason or the other, we're not making traction on the conversation, we're walking in circles, we got to put this down, but you don't bring it back up.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, I'm just waiting.
Are you?
I'm just waiting, because it's like, I don't want to be annoying. I don't,
Not perfect.
Yeah.
no, but I'm just, helping the husbands out there. Maybe not all the women feel that way, but when you bring something back up that wasn't finished, I don't know, that means a lot to me.
Because honestly, I forget. Like
me too.
that's part of
Yeah. Well, it's like that you run on autopilot. It's like when we are driving somewhere and I say, oh, by the way, we got to stop at Sobeys on the way. And he goes right past the turnoff. And he's like, I'm sorry, I was just driving on autopilot, right?
Yep.
And like, that's what happens in
100%.
life. Like
Yeah.
you go on the autopilot of life. You forget that you got to make that turn and go back to that conversation or go back to, because sometimes it's over little things or what may seem little to one spouse, but is big to the other. And sometimes it is big things, right? Sometimes it's really big things.
it's important.
I think it is important.
Yeah, and I feel exposed, but that's okay.
I'm sorry.
We're
Do you still feel respected?
real.
I absolutely
This
do.
ain't a rom-com, so it's good. This is real life.
This ain't a rom-com,
That
Zach.
exposure is okay. 'Cause- Well, I feel like in the long run, there's a lot of marriages that listen to these types of things and just think that like, oh my goodness, we fight all the time. And it's like there's seasons you fight all the time. There's seasons that you
Totally.
do, and it's just like that season could be a week, and that season could be 2 months, and that season could be half a year, because you either none of you are willing to step off the crazy cycle and get to the energizing one, which is a big one. I think it's massive, or you're just. Yeah, you think that your wife is going to relate to you like a buddy will, and it's like she's not. Like just same for the relating to your wife as a girlfriend. It's just like it won't work.
Totally.
Right?
And I would say it doesn't have to be like that, right?
No.
And that's just what I want to encourage people with. Like, I understand, like one of the things that we're talking to Peter and Laura about. I was yesterday. She was saying how she now, after doing this so many times, you recognize now when you're starting to get on that cycle, and now like. Obviously, she's more mature and she's been doing this for a long time, but like she's able to identify that. And like even before you get on it now, you learn these things, right? And that's why I encourage people. Like I really don't know that I can hype this enough. This course up for newly married couples or people that have been married for a long time. It doesn't matter. If you don't know this stuff, like, man, it can be transformative, and it just doesn't have to be like that. And again, like if you're going to do something like this, don't expect life to be easy.
Yeah.
over the next little while, like it's going to be
We'll shake the snow globe.
and you can't
Shake the
unlearn,
snow globe.
right? You can't, now that you've learned this stuff, you can't go back anymore. Like
No.
you can't go back to how things were before, and you're going to have to do something with this. And it's challenging, takes effort.
Yeah, and it creates an opportunity to have conversation, right?
Yes.
It creates an open and safe space because now you're having conversations to say, I really appreciate it when, or it actually really hurts me when, right? But because you're both being vulnerable together, as long as both people agree that you can have these conversations openly, you can have these conversations and make sure that you're on the same page, right? Because there's been times where you've tried to bring things up to me and I'm just immediately defensive and I don't want to see it and I don't want to hear it. And there's times I try to bring up something to you and you're like, you just don't understand me, or it, and it's just, you're trying to bring light to things that can better your marriage if we're aware of them. But either you don't feel equipped now to deal with, okay, you don't like it when, how do I fix that? You don't feel equipped. We feel somewhat equipped after taking this course.
I would agree.
Right? But I think it just does create this openness and this space to have these conversations where sometimes, you might be, I'm not saying this is healthy to do, but just holding something in, right? Because you feel anger or bitterness or resentment. The longer that you keep something in the dark, the more you blow it up in your mind, and you just need to bring it into the light so that it doesn't have any power over you anymore. And I think when you remove all those barriers in your marriage, I know some of the couples that we took the course with were even saying like, yeah, we now have a code word. So when they're like when I'm starting to feel unloved or he's starting to feel
The crazy
disrespected, code word, right? And it's like, oh, so it doesn't matter if they're out in public, they're in private. It's like, Kate, let's just stop right here, right? So I think even just having those conversations now, having taken the course, has just been really beneficial for us.
Couldn't agree more.
More to come.
Well, I think that's I like what you said, and this, both of you, in the sense that just work on it. It doesn't need to stay that way. It's good, right? And then there's avenues that it just gets better and better. I said, it just really does. Like me and Jess are what now? This is 9th year in July.
Wow.
9th year in July. Isn't that crazy?
That's
amazing.
It's just like,
wow.
it's nuts how fast it goes. But so 9 years, and 100% it's better than it's ever been. And it's like, what else can you say that about? It's like,
Totally.
there's not much you can say that about in the world that we live in. It's like, but marriage, when done well, it just gets better and better. And that's also, I think, going to the course together and being happy and talking about it, using it as a date night. I mean, that in itself shows that you love each other and you respect each other, because there's a desire to work on something that might not be broken, but please don't wait to work on something when it's broken. Like, allow it to be, like, you can work on, I think that my dad used to say that too. It's like, it's always the ones that are in line at the marriage conference to buy books that have the best marriages.
He said that all the time.
Yes.
I remember that.
100%. So, and it was to break the stigma of, don't not buy this stuff because you think everyone's going to think your marriage sucks or you're struggling. It's like, even if you are, who cares? But at the same time, most bad marriages just almost have given up. They'll go to it because maybe it's just a good symbol of, I guess we should do this.
Well, and I'll even say, like, I admire a lot of the marriages that were represented in that room yesterday. Like, they are the ones I look up to.
Right.
And they were the ones that were there spending the time investing in their marriage even more. It's like, that was incredibly inspiring. And so, yeah, that stigma that people might have of like, you only go to a marriage course if you need it.
Yeah.
Like, man,
we needed it.
We did need it, but like
well, everyone needs it,
right?
That's the thing.
Like,
we went, and I'm like, wow, we really needed this.
And
we don't know what you don't know, and now we know.
And I couldn't be it couldn't have been a better experience. And
Totally.
But to break that stigma with people, we need to keep on preaching that and harping on that. It's so important.
And I think for us, what it's created, we took the course unknowingly with some friends, and then actually my sister and my brother-in-law were in the course as well. And as we've been having open dialogue, even amongst us couples, right? And then sharing with other people who haven't been in the course, some of the things that we've been working through or just learning. And then you start talking to people about marriage, and the more I'm having conversation with people, I really am realizing that the enemy wants us to feel isolated in our
So
marriages.
true.
The enemy wants us to think that we're the only ones going through something hard, or that everybody else has these picture perfect marriages. And that's just simply not the case.
No.
Every single marriage has stuff. And if the enemy can keep us feeling like, I don't have a perfect marriage, I fought with my husband, feeling discouraged, God loves family. Like God uses us together as like a full family unit. And the more that we can encourage like other couples to take the course, to read a book, like you are not alone. I think to me, that is the biggest thing I'm seeing is people just feeling alone and not wanting to expose. It doesn't mean you have to go be vulnerable and share your deepest, darkest marital things with just anybody, but knowing that everybody's working through stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody's arrived. Nobody's perfect. Don't let the enemy use that to like keep you where you are. And I feel encouraged like to be able to help people realize that you don't have to walk marriage alone. Like it's between you and your spouse, but there's so many great resources. Find friends, like having great friends that you can talk to about maybe not the private things that are going on in your marriage, but to encourage one another is just so valuable.
I think that, and that I would imagine those courses are filled with marriages and people, and that would be very easy to have friendship with.
Totally.
Like, it does create friendship in those times, especially the more people that just decide I'm just going to go figure it out, and always work on it, right? Like, and that looks different. There might be some months where you can jump on a course every Tuesday night or something like that, and there might be some times where it feels like it's a little more, but there's still something you have to do to better that marriage, whether it is a date night and just chatting things through and getting away from the kids and just trying to enjoy that aspect of life a little bit more. You just so quickly the marriage becomes the easy thing to just let go of a little bit, because it's like, oh, well, I have this and I have this, and this person called me, I have to figure that. And it's just like, who cares if that person called you? You know what I mean? Like it's like your wife or your husband sitting right in front of you right now. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that we've attached an urgency to everything but our marriages a lot of the time too, for no reason.
Yeah.
It's like for no reason. It's just like we just have this urgency because this person's always there, so they'll be here when the phone call's done. But this person never calls me, so I better answer this. And it's like, no, like finish the conversation with that you guys were having, and then just call that person back, because it's like it's going to be fine, right? Like, I don't know,
one of the things too in the life courses that you'll know, obviously, but in the middle there's always a break, right? And there's about 20 minutes that we would always have, and people would have name tags on so that you can introduce yourself fairly easily, and it's just a beautiful, like, I found that every time that we would have these breaks, like we would have to be like, oh, it's time to get back to the thing, because it's like you're having that opportunity to open up with somebody about what you're learning, about things they're going through, whatever. And there would be such beautiful conversations going on in that time. And I just really would encourage people, especially if somebody is new maybe to the community or something like that, to take that time and try to introduce yourself to somebody in the group that you're in the session that you're in there with, and try to get to know them, and maybe just like meet somebody and put yourself out there. It just felt so valuable to the connections that were being made during these courses. So it's not just about the two of us even, and the course and the things that we're watching and listening to. It's about the relationships that you're helping build. And there were some relationships that it was just beautiful.
Totally it is. Totally it is. Well, we've been going for almost just over an hour now, which is crazy.
Wow.
Hey,
No, we haven't.
It flies by.
It does fly by.
It flies by. So it was great to have you guys on, though. It's always good to chat about things, and I know I told you guys.
It does fly by.
It flies by once you start talking, because there's so much to talk about.
Well, it's a pleasure being on and being asked with you. We really appreciate it.
We're all building church together, and it's fun to be able to talk about things that are maybe not typically our normal conversation, right? Which is marriage. It's not always something you talk about to everyone all the time, right?
That you feel like you have imposter syndrome about.
100%. I think we all do, right? Well, that's the definition of me and preaching and everything. It's like, or going on a series where I'm trying to teach something that I'm also learning as I go, and it's like that feels like imposter syndrome too. But then you start to realize that everyone has imposter syndrome.
Absolutely.
So in everything that we do, we're looking to get better and have fun. So it's good, but marriage is worth it, and obviously you guys are saying that today and continue to go and
It is the best. And as your
Marriage
children
is
get
the
older
best.
too, it does get easier.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
I feel bad saying that for all the people with little babies in their house right
No,
now.
but it's good to think that way though too, because someone always mentioned was like, how many kids do you want to have? And some people have said to me that's like, oh, I just thought of I thought of our dinner table 25 years from now and what we wanted that to look like, and it was like that's the truth of it, right? Like, so you do think about the future of what you want your dinner table to look like, how you want your family to be, and things are meant to get slowly a little bit easier and easier and easier, and then you get grandkids, and then the grandkids are even easier because now you just get to spoil them rotten, send them home, and that's what I
I've
always
never
hear, too.
thought of that once. So just for the
You
record,
haven't thought of grandkids yet?
no,
Well, now
not
you
even
have.
close.
Yeah.
It's like it could be not that far away.
I'm far too young for that.
Well,
Sorry.
my grandma Jackie was married and had my dad at 17 years old.
Oh my goodness.
So could be 2 years away.
Now you're really making him sweat.
I'm just joking.
He's always like, Michaela can't get married till she's 30.
Yeah, don't worry. Anyways, we'll end it there.
Oh
Thank you guys for tuning in. We always enjoy having the conversations. And like always, we hope you have learned something today from us having this imposter syndrome. We're just talking about real life, real marriage, and real problems, to be honest, in different times. And so if you have anyone on your mind right now, whether it's a couple, whether it's an individual, send this to them, like it, subscribe it, comment on it, get this as far as we can, because we always like to spread. Well, this is Christian marriages too. This is all we do. It's all based on Bible. It's all based on our love for Jesus. And I think that's something that, I know that is something that needs to be spread further and further and further in every avenue we can. So apart from that, tune into the next episode, same place, same time that we do. And we love you guys, and we'll see you here next time.